Welcome to the Equal Temperments podcast, where we cover music, gear, and everything in between. This is episode 1. I'm Al.
I'm Jack.
And today we're talking about a new track from one of my favorite bands, Mastadon. The track is White Walker. It comes from their most recent release, Medium Rarities, where they released some instrumentals as well as some previously unreleased tracks. Let's give it a listen. So a huge sounding track from the guys at Mastodon. They always have a great skill to start off small sometimes and then just build into this massive, you really feel the doom and fear sometimes. A little bit of trivia about the band, and I'm not 100%, but I have a feeling that this song was written in connection with the fact that a couple of the guys from the band actually had an extra role as White Walkers in Game of Thrones. Brent, for sure, and I want to say Bill Kelleher as well, maybe the whole band. I know that at least the two guitarists had a small role as White Walkers on Game of Thrones, which maybe, just maybe, the inspiration for this tune. But yeah, I think that's a neat little thing that they did, and I think if it had been incorporated anyway into the soundtrack of the show, I think it would have fit really well with the kind of desperation that you feel from the characters in was it Winterfell? I think it is, where the Starks live.
Yeah, and then White Walkers, it's a hell of inspiration for any song. Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they were on the show, but regardless, just watching Game of Thrones and writing a song about White Walkers, yeah. And I think they were a bit subtle about that too. It's not exactly the tone of a track would have gone about White Walkers.
Yeah, but I've only really seen the last few seasons actually, but they're just the moment when they're all on the wall and they know that they're out there, and he says they come down. I assume that he's talking about the what is the name of the guys that watch it? The Knights of, or the I can't remember it now. The Night's Watch.
The Night's Watch, is that right?
I think that's what it's called. Somebody will correct us if we're wrong.
Man, it doesn't sound right to me, but
it might not be.
I think I don't know.
It might not be. But anyway, I guess let's break it down a little bit more, piece by piece. Like I said, it starts off with Brandaler on some really nice, subtle tribal drums, and then he comes in with his vocals. He's got a really great range. He's been their main guy for clean vocals over the last couple years. Almost like a hymnal feel to it. I don't know. What did you think, Jack?
I did enjoy the way the track began. But with the whole tribal drumming, that was great. It was a bit of a slow burner for me, really.
Mm.
I mean, if I can just skip ahead here, 2:30, as soon as that lead guitar comes in, that's when the track just... I even thought of this when you were listening to it just now. That's when the track feels like it starts to make sense to me. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably Brent Hines, I believe. He typically does their lead work, and it definitely contributes a lot to the build-up and the intensity of the track, and you start to feel things kind of coming out of control a little bit. And that's another thing I like that they do, especially in their more recent, more progressive rock, not quite as heavy metal type stuff they've done in recent years. They really like to start subtle sometimes and really let the song breathe and grow on its own. And we start with just drums, and then we start to get a little bit of just a single strum acoustic guitar to pair along with that. Then Brent comes in with his leads, and by the end of it, you've got massive cymbal swells, and Troy Sanders comes in with his bass with a descending kind of bell tone thing that really is characteristic of his playing. And again, just adds to the doom and gloom feel of the track that I just love it. When I listened to this album the first time through, that one really stood out to me because of the just how dynamic of a track it is, I think.
You can probably tell by now he's the Mastodon head. I know Crack the Sky, Once More Around the Sun, and bits and pieces of their other works. So I don't have this deep level of knowledge. So I'm really happy you were so prepared for this. I was gonna say this track to me. It seems like a bit more of an outlier from their normal sound, even with the new stuff I've been keeping up with. Obviously it's meant to be a ballad, and it feels reminiscent of should I say Jaguar God or some of their other ballads.
For sure.
But it seems like it has more of a folk rock aesthetic starting out.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. They do like to delve into some extra genres, and I know this is the specific track we're talking about, but we were talking about the other night. They had an EP called Cold Dark Place, which if you didn't know it was Mastodon, you might not even you wouldn't guess it maybe, because it's got a lot of even like southern rock and country influences, and that's something that I just always like to see a band do, is step outside of what they're known for. You know, I started off listening to them with Crack the Sky, and actually I think Emperor of Sand was just about to come out when I first started listening to them, so my initial impression was very much like, oh, these are prog rock guys. They sometimes dip their toe in metal, but of course then I went back and listened. Adam, a friend of ours, is a big fan of Mastodon since they were just getting started, out of Savannah, Georgia, and he showed me Remission and Call of the Mastodon and Leviathan, and I was like, man, the metalhead in me was like, golly, I had no idea, you know, that they could really just get you with some of those heavy tones. So yeah, I mean, I like to see a band that can go here and there whenever they want, and not just say, oh, people know us as a metal band, so we'll play metal. So I really appreciate that about them.
Yeah. What else to say about this track? I mean, I just think that 2:30 mark is really important for me in the enjoyment of this track. That next, I think the track is exactly 4 minutes and 20 seconds long, and so like that next, like really just 1 minute, really just like I was so in the pocket, and then the way it fades out too, really neat. Yeah. One of my favorite parts about the track actually is just the way it slowly fades, because you can tell they didn't fade it, you know, like in post in the studio. It was just them playing softer.
Yeah, in the studio, you know, they just kind of fed off of each other maybe, and we're like, all right, yeah, let's bring it down, let's ease up. Yeah. Until eventually it was just silent, and you know, that's just good musicianship, I guess. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah, good use of that single guitar being strummed, like with that pattern. It just felt very appropriate to fade out like that. So, any other? That's about all I got, really.
That's it, I think.
Okay, cool. Should we give this a number rating? People like to see that kind of thing.
Well, me personally, as I've already admitted my bias, I'm a big fan of the band. I'm going to give this one 5 stars. I love it.
We're giving it out of 5. Okay.
Oh, we can.
I was thinking out of 10.
Out of 10? Okay, then I'm going to give it a 10.
10. I guess it's the same either way. Yeah.
Thumbs up.
I'm going to give this song a 6.
Okay.
But I think we make up for each.
That's okay.
I figured it would be a bit of a dispute between us.
That's all right. Yeah.
But
if you had said 1, maybe there would be an argument, but you didn't. So
no, not at all. It's definitely good. It's just I feel like it's gonna have to grow on me some more. I've only heard it like 3 times. This is like my 3rd time hearing it. I feel like you've heard it more by now.
Probably.
Right?
I think once I heard the album, it was like, that's going in the playlist, and every time I drive somewhere, I'm probably going to start off with that track or one of the others that I really appreciated out of that album, or some of their recent work.
Yeah. As far as well, I will say though, I mean, we're going to come back and review this entire album probably next time we get together to record anything. So expect that, a full album review of remind me of the name of this album?
Medium Rarities.
And that's like a collection of B-sides or unreleased materials.
And one original track for this release, which was Fallen Torches, which was a good one. So yeah, that was a good one. We're gonna be reviewing that, as well as we're not just stuck to metal and rock. We're gonna talk about Billie Eilish soon, as well as any other new music that catches our ears, I should say. So yeah.
I'll just say when we come back and look at that Medium Rarities album, I feel like this track might even be higher in my opinion. By then,
so we'll give it some time to marinate.
Yeah, for sure. Where we at? Closing?
I guess so, yeah. So thanks for tuning in to our inaugural episode of Equal Temperaments. Once again, I am Al.
And I'm Jack.
And we'll see you next time.
Yay.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I think, probably.
I think so.
It's going to seem like a first time, but...
yeah, it will.